Hello, everybody. Just kind of muddling around today. Don't have much of a brain, a lot of things in my mind. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do to keep my self occupied, do something constructive today. It's a nice Sunday afternoon. Not much going on. Um, and kind of like it when not much is going on anymore, but I do have some clouds rolling over my head that just stay there for the time being. But we're not here for that. We're here to get into my Hockey Bones helper, which I set up the season for. I get all my information off of, and I started this video and realized I had the wrong template in there and started it all over again. I go to Hockey Reference, and that's where I get all my information from. The only problem we use in Hockey Reference is they're getting really in bed with these frickin' pop-ups, and it gets in the way, but it's still a great source of information. And they also change things a lot. So with that, I got to, when I make my templates up, I got to try to allocate for the most possible games played, leave extra columns in there for added things they get. And it becomes a mess, but usually I can get a season done without having to modify too much. Anyway, just decided they do Boston, so we're going to try to just go in here to the Boston page, and they are part of the Atlantic. So I do like to, um, boy, I thought I put that in there. Hmm, on the wrong one again. How about we get rid of that one? There we go. So I use a template and set the template up. I did screw the pooch a little bit. The usual template I have up doesn't have the conferences and stuff already in there, but for ease of me making sure that these match, I put drop down data validation. Those of you that know Excel drop down menus, so I can get the conference and division spelled correctly for everybody. Because what I do is I like to track individual conference divisional wins. I conference will only encompass the guys they play outside their division in their conference. Then all the home wins and away wins. Just kind of keep track of all that too. And I have that automated already, but I needed a spot to do it. And I'll also place the arena up here. And I have macros that I use for putting the teams in. As you see, there's absolutely nothing in here now. By the time I'm done, it'll have all this in here and all the games started for these guys. And most of it is automated. And so that's where I'm going to go through right now. Just kind of give you guys an idea. I am not a computer programmer or anything. I just started probably some 30 years ago, um, putting using Excel and kind of developing with it just because I do a lot of sports games, do a lot of board games. I just like the capabilities of Excel for keeping track of things, access in Excel. And so I just learned over the years to try to make simple macros and whatnot. And it's really over the last few years, they've done a lot with Excel that I can do a lot more with. And I've developed more knowledge as I push my envelope a little bit more. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and select this whole page here, copy it over to my Boston tab. Now, I do need to make sure when I use these tabs over here that I copy the name off of my teams here, because it's going to use that information to find the right page to get the information it needs. So there's that. Now, we just copied the whole page. I'm going to come over to Boston. I'm going to select this up here. We're going to paste that in there. Um, as you see, we have a blank Boston page. The other thing I do is I like to be able to hide the top and bottom rows right to here because it helps me keep my headers up top, and mostly I need them when I'm over here. And it also helps me keep the names and stuff where I can see them. So I come into here, I hit that, and I hit View, Freeze Panes, and the top line will say Freeze Panes until you freeze them, and then it says Unfreeze Panes. So that's what I do. Anyway, go over here, make sure I have the right ones in for Boston. It is. I got the Eastern and Atlantic. Going to get their arena real quick. I'm just going to go here, copy that, Control C. Got the TD arena. We're going to go ahead and paste that matching destination format always, so we don't get links, all kinds of weird shit in there. And um, then I go into the roster. And I like this to be in alphabetical order and the goalies separated from the skaters. So I'll sort this here. Takes a little bit of work to get the goalies out of there, but it's not horrible. I'm going to select all of them. They had 36 players that season. This is 2022. I don't play a lot of modern, but I just wanted to get back into so I recognize some of the names and stuff. And it's I find it kind of interesting, not like the old days, because it's just not enough intimidation stuff on the ice for me anymore. But it's I don't know. I'd like to stay on top of things, so kind of getting high. The other sports seem to be going down in the toilet pretty much. So I still find myself going back to hockey um, and I don't know. Everybody's trying to make everything a big extravaganza. I just want the sport of things again. So hockey's one of the ones I stick with. Um, all right, so we've done that. Everything's in alphabetical order. I do want to get my goalies out though, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to locate. They had three goalies, so I'm going to locate my three goalies. Raskin's one of them right here, and I'm going to put. I'm just going to copy paste. This is what I said. This is one of the few things where I got to do a little work, and it really does not much. And then we got the other two right here. Copy them, bring them down here, and then I'll just copy paste and tidy everything up. So we're going to go right under Rask. We're going to copy everybody down to the bottom. Just going to move that up and copy over his first one. Then we're going to go down here to the other one, and we're going to go down and we're going to eliminate the bottom one because I don't want multiple, excuse me, entries of him. And again, we're just going to go. I try to do values on everything just to make sure I'm not messing up. And now we can go get rid of these bottom three. And that puts everybody in order with the goalies at the bottom. And then I'm a happy camper. That takes care of my OCD for me. I'll go ahead and copy these. And I'm going to go ahead and put them over here first. And first, last, don't mind. This has evolved over the years too. I don't need the first and last broken down anymore. So, and then I'm going to get the positions, but the positions are going to change because I actually like to use the Stratomatic positions a little better. So I'll go back and change those to Stratomatic when I put my cards into Vassal. And that's all I need to do with them. Now, next step is get the schedule in here. Why do I want the schedule in here, you ask? We will get to that shortly. Anyway, I have a slot in here for the schedule. So we're going to go down here. We're just going to get Boston's schedule. I don't want the whole season schedule. I just want Boston's schedule. That'll mess me up if I have a whole season schedule in there. And this here, I'm just going to go ahead and get that as a CSV. Select all 82. I'm doing 92, 93, which had 84. So you got it. That kind of threw me for a loop. I had to add columns, and I'm going to come up here to my GP, and you see all these are 1900. It's going to pick up the date, and it's going to assign it a number. I'm going to copy that in there, and we're going to go ahead and text the columns again. And as you see, these all turn to actual dates now, and it has a number over here that it'll pick up this game played number. And now I have a little macro in here that I call scheduled columns. And what this little macro is going to do is going to pick up all these dates of the games played, and it's going to put the dates up here in this area right there. And I shouldn't have done that, but I did it. So what? Anyway, so we're going to run that macro real quick. Macro, actually I could edit it. Got to show you how big my macro. It's not really a big macro. I just do a lot of, yeah, we'll edit that. I just do a lot of do whiles and stuff like that. Scheduled columns right here. This is my whole macro. X equals 6, Y equals 2, count equals, I want to think, 1. Um, do I count is less than 85? I'm picking up 84 games just for my longer seasons. Cells 1, meaning column over here. It always does column first. One column X because X in 6 from the end is my first date here, and it'll start filling in X if X equals S plus 1. If it'll actually go through and enter all the dates based on these cells Y 126, which is column Y going, I mean row Y going down, picking up the date on each game played. So real quick, run it through. Boom, it's done. Come over here. We now have. Aha! It didn't work. Know what I know what it is, and we're going to pause this real quick. I just switched this template from another um, helper. I'm updating this helper, and it's for the 80 game season, so things aren't quite lined up right. So I'll real quick pause this, copy over the correct macro, which means I've got to do that with a few of these, and I'll be right back. See you guys in a minute. All right, this is, and I thought, yeah, it is the extra games played. So I'm just going to select this real quick. I copied it off of my 2022 Hockey New, which is my old game. It's easier for me to copy and go. Oh, really? I think it changes it. It moves this column to 120, 132 from 126. Now we can go ahead and run this, and you'll see this gibberish up here change the dates. There we go. Now we got the dates. Ah, I love it when, like I said, we're having brain days today, so we're going to just deal with it. I'm going to have to do that more than once. All right, so now we've got our schedule in place, and that stays in place because we're going to also use this schedule and these dates right here and these numbers right here to populate all of our X's for the games played over here. So next we move to our troops, our skaters, and we go in and I just use the roster. Jack Acon, and I'm going to butcher names as I do this, will be the first. I'm going to go into game logs because that's what I want, 21, 22, because that's the season I'm doing. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to make his game log a CSV. Copy just the game log, making sure that they're only to the Boston games. I don't want any other team. So if they're traded, I only select the Boston games or whatever team I'm doing at the time. Go back into HV Hockey. I'm going to paste that right here. And then we're going to text the columns, and I've got to watch this too. This is going to be another one. Edit that one. I'm going to have to do this for most of these. So it doesn't usually take as long as it's going to. Doesn't usually take as long as I'm going to have to. Yeah, I'm going to pause this while I do this. All right, let's see if I got the right one in here. Text the columns automatically throws them all into columns. And we're good on that one. So now I've got his 6 games here. You see over here, and Jack Aiken, 6 games available, 6 game played. These numbers right here are the key. These are the actual games played that he did, and my macro is actually going to pick them up. I'll come over here to GP. This I need to also make sure. So I'm going to pause this again while I get all these other 2 macros over because it's going to make a difference. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. All right, now I think I can actually get it into an uninterrupted flow. So the games played is my next button, which you can see now why I like to keep these things visible. Games played is quite a simple little macro. All that is going to do is, like I said, I'm no computer expert. There's probably more efficient ways of doing this. This is the macro right here called GP start. D equals range EQ1. I picked this number up right here, which is 2. That's going to tell me what column to start working with right there. And if cells D comma 3, D equaling 2, so on column 2, 3, which would be this one right here, equals G, it's looking for the goalies, then I would do, it's not equal rather, I do games played. So, yep, this is what happens when you transfer things over right before you record. That's 2 more macros that I got to transfer. I shall return. I thought I had my act together. Be right back, guys. Sorry. All right, the easy thing is at least I can just do this, and I've got them all in there. And that just, the only thing's changing is the amount of columns because, like I said, I went from, started with 80 games because I did my 79-80 season first, and I had extended the 90 to 82 games for 92-93, and then I went and started doing 2022, oh no, 84 games. And I wanted to do 2021. I started to do secondly. Sorry about that. I'm getting screwed up there. They had 84 games. I want to do that because I just don't have the resources right now to order the cards on print, and I really don't want to print out that many cards because I don't have the time or the money to go through cutting all them up and doing it. Besides, of like putting them into Vassal, and then I went back to 92, 93, which of course had 84 games. So this basic, I guess you call it, the platform that I use has changed 3 times. Whenever I do something differently, it's easier for me to change the whole platform. And so, like, I just added up I showed you where I like the home losses and stuff. I added all that stuff in plus the 3 stars. So it's, once again, I'm copying all my teams into the newest platform. So back to what we're doing here. This is going to um, yeah, lost track of where I was. Games played. If it's not a goal, it'll do games played. Games played. That's this macro right here. It's just going to read R is equal to 1, so it's going to pick this 2 up again as R. X equals 3, and it's going to and it's picking up X is 3 because it's picking this up right here. 3 columns down instead of 2 over here. So it's just going to tell me to look up, do why X is less than 88, so I can pick up to 80 some games, 85 games now. I hope they don't have any more than that, for crying out loud. And then T equals cells X, which is 3 in this case, 146, which is going to be this number right here, 21. And then it's going to say cells RT, which brings us over to columns. Column 2, based on this number up here, and T, based on this number here. And it's just going to put an X in it. And quite simple. It's a simple little macro. And I'm just going to put it right there, and maybe we'll actually see them come in. So we're going to go down to, or up to rather, down to game GP start. And we're going to hit run. Boom. And as you see, it just populated the March 7th, March 10th he played, February 12th he played. Oh, my birthday. And if you come over here to his 6 games played, March 7th, March 10th, February 12th were among the ones he played. Then I just come into clear, which is another small macro. And that's just a real quick, it's going to clear out this big block up here, so I'm ready to go for my next one, and then it's going to add 1 to the EQ, so I'm all set up to fix my next player. So quite simple, clear, boom, we're done. We go now to the next player, which is Patrice Bergeron. Back up a couple of pages. Yeah, it takes a little while sometimes, especially if I click too fast. Captain Bergeron, game logs 21-22. Make it a CSV. Select all his Bostons. Played 73 games. And we go back over here, paste them down in there, text to columns button. You see he's got 73 right here. That's my verification. That 73 will come over to games played when all those are filled, and then this should be a 0. Games played, he's got 73 in there, nothing over there, so I know that 73 X's were properly filled in. Bergeron's game logs are in there. And that's how quick it is when you start, once you get your head out of your ass and you have the right information there, or right macros in there. So then I'm going to go back then to Anton Blythe, I guess you'd call it. I don't know how to pronounce that name either. I will murder a name. And he has 21-22 CSV. Copy all the Bostons. Paste it. Texted columns, games played 32, clear it out. We go on to Josh Brown. And I'll be done this probably in less than half an hour. And it's really no Road race, Josh Brown. Game logs, 21-22. SV. See, this is Ottawa. Good thing we saw this. So Ottawa, I don't want his Ottawa. I will get an error because the dates won't match up. And I don't want them on Boston's roster anyway. So we're just going to do his Boston games. Go over to the right roster there. Paste these in. And we're going to text the columns them. Games played, 6. And there you have it. His 6 games. And they should be at the end of the season. And they are. You see, there's his 6 games right there at the end of the season. So, and that's what I do. I just go all the way down. For goalies, it'll put an S in if they start and a 2 if they don't start. I guess I'll pause until I get down to the goalies. How's that sound? Then I'll do them and then we'll do a goalie quick. I'll be right back. All right. We're back again, getting ready to do the goalies. We're going to go to Tuukka Rask first. Back to Rask's page. And 21-22 was on the downside there. Got 4 games played. Now I use decisions mostly with them to see if they start. If they get, it usually tells me, so if they pick up a decision or not, text the columns, gets to the 4 games he played. They're around the 30s, probably right around there. Yeah, put them in there. There they go. There's his 4 starts right there. Then we're going to go to Jeremy Swayman. And then what I do is I go through at the end and I fill in based on what I can glean from the grid placed out in the starts and their actual substitutions. I'll go in and put who's the backup goalie, so I have all that information for each game too. That's the only thing I really have to do manually. We're almost done there. 41 for him. And you'll mark. Should be 41 for him also. Copy paste. All right, now we're done. Now we got it fully populated with every, and most of them you see, unless they didn't have 18 guys on the roster or on the active roster that day. I've actually run into that Pittsburgh once. You see that we've got 18 across the board right down here. So we got our 18 skaters every day. And what we're going to do is, first off, I'm going to go through and I'm going to Control C, say this is values because I don't want that to do anything anymore. And then I'm going to go to here to Anaheim, pick up the availability. So to give me an index based on games played. Control V that right there. That'll give me the current roster for game 1. And then as I play games and put the wins and losses in, this number here will give me the current roster for whatever game I'm on. So these looks like most of the time it's going to be Ullmark and Swayman. So we just go through and put 2 on every open space until we get up to where Rask came in. One of them probably out for an injury. Like I said, I'm not the world's greatest typist, so this is probably the longest part. And here we go. We're coming up on it. So right around now is where I start guessing. But you can see he took a start there, and he's got a backup over here. So good chance he was the backup goalie of that game. So I just fill the 2s in right here. 2-2. And then yeah, I'll give him one more right there, and then we're going to go back to the standard rotation. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's my freaking game. I can do what I want, right? I think even the rules in Hockey Bones say that it's your game. Have fun with it. And a lot of games, I'm not a rules lawyer. If I make a mistake, I roll with it. I do make them, especially when life is tough and your brain's just not quite as sharp as it should be, which it's been for the last couple of years now. As both of us have kind of run into health issues. Wife more so than me. Mine have stabilized out. I just have nerve damage, and that's going to be there till the day I die. But other than that, I'm still nice and healthy. Knock on wood, and thank God. All right. And that's my team. I basically have a full-fledged team ready to roll. Boston's ready to go. I'll pull over here in the order. The other thing I would then do, and I don't have a template set up for this, is I will go in over here and I will select everything from column CO over to, oh boy, right here. Because down here I have the individual grids for the assists, and it needs to pick them up too. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that and put that all over all the information I don't need anymore. So I'm going to go to Boston, choose column CO, paste, get rid of the shifts because they're not their shift numbers. Over here, get rid of the blocks because that's not their blocks. And then I will go in and put in their proper assists. And there you have it. So when I go actually and play my game, it will go from the schedule. Pittsburgh versus Lightning's the first game. I'll copy them in. They'll come over here. I'll clear the rosters. As you see, everybody that is active for this game is highlighted in green. I'll give them a number 1 to 18, except for the goalies, and transfer that. That'll transfer the lineups over to my game screen when I hit this button right here. And I'll go through all that in another video because this has gone about 27 minutes, so that's good enough. But this will stay with the current game played based on that win-loss tie number that goes up there, and all that's automated when I save the stats too. So it all becomes automated. So once I put the time in the beginning, running a game, running a season through one of these helpers is really easy. The hardest part I have is getting my cards put into Vassal, which does take some time because that's a lot of artwork, copy and pasting. I'm anal. I like to have some kind of a texture to it so it A stands out and B kind of looks like a card, and then putting proper position, not proper, but the positions as per Stratomatic. Some of them I have to write over what was in there for Hockey Bones or whatever. So and then putting my prototypes and stuff in there. But that's you don't need that. I play this on tabletop too. It's just easier for me to do it on the game on the computer. A lot less setup, uh, a lot less everything. So there you have it. That's my Hockey Bones season stat sheet for 2022. I'll real quick open up the 92-93, which is the season I have in progress. And you can see that I am well up in the schedule to game. I believe it's for game number 87 now, Hartford and Ottawa. And actually, I'm in the middle of that game, and I may do a video with some gameplay on that. I'm just starting the second period. These are two of the worst teams in the league. You can see the Whalers are up 1-0 on the Senators. Senators still don't have a point. They're 0-6-0. Whalers have 5 points right now. They're 2-4-1. They'll probably pick up a point here too. Currently, Sean Burke is 3.07 goals against average and .918 save percentage. And he's facing Sidorkiewicz, who is a 4.86 goals against average, and his save percentage is .878. And the goal down here, as you see this is all automated too. As you see my play-by-play is, or my, what do you want to call it, AAR or whatever you want to call it, is coming into focus here. The goal was Sanderson's fourth on the year from Murray Craven, and it was his sixth, and also list the penalties as they come by. This has been a weird game. These guys came out and just had a lot of penalties. And then it just kind of stabilized for a while. We actually had some hockey going on. I've run into a lot of games like that where I have a ton of penalties, and other games where I don't have many, and my stats are hell. While I'm at it, I'll go through my stats. You guys don't mind hanging on a little bit longer. My league stats. I kind of stole this idea from Jeremy over there at FTP Sports. This is my league standings. I just hit this button to sort it by. I think I sort it by points and then percentage, but I can't remember right now. It might be percentage and then points, and that gives me my current percentage. I also have the team stats right here. Right down here's my league stats, so I can stop in sometimes and see how my power play opportunities are doing as per the real season. Skater stats, I can go and hit all these to sort them by the different columns. Just macros I put in there. Highest penalty minutes right now is Dana Murson. I also keep track of the shifts. This is actually the divided by two, so this will be the actual shifts that should match or be darn close to their Hockey Bones shift rating. Kevin Hatcher tops the lead with Al Frady on that one. I think they're line mates in the defense, and they played a lot of minutes. Goalies, same thing. I sort by zero, high to low on here on the goals against. I also have shots per game, goals per game, penalty minutes per game. I track down here just to try and keep track of that sometimes and stop in and see how all this is kind of lining up on real life. And then I got the individual team ones. And I haven't done a whole lot of that yet. I am going to start doing the. This is a comparison I made for Keith Eshelman on assists for defensemen and assists for forwards, and I'm right around 2 to 1. But I am starting to do stars of the game, so that'll start taking. I'll put that in here somewhere. But that's what I do. That's my stats suite, so to speak. And somewhere along the line, I want to do more with this in the um, and I may not have to, but more towards playoff time if I get that far. Is home wins, away wins, conference wins, etc. So there you have it. That's my suite for the current season I'm playing. I dabble back and forth on the other two. I'll probably go heavy on 92, 93. I would rather play 90, 91, but Hockey Bones don't have that, so I play that on Inside Pitch on the PC. So thanks everybody for joining me. This is my Excel helper for Hockey Bones. That's how I put the teams together on, and that was my 19, I mean not 19, 20, 21, 22 season that I was putting together, and just kind of how I do it and how you can make Excel work for you. If you just take a little bit of time, because it'll actually save you some time in the long run. All right, thanks all for joining me. We'll see you next time. Maybe I'll get some gameplay up if I feel comfortable with it. Thanks for joining me. You all have a great night.